Years of therapy and spiritual work and still feel anxious? You can understand your patterns and still not feel free from them. Welcome to Permission to Thrive with Suzi Lula. Hi, I'm Suzi, and this is a place where we slow down, we tune in, and we tap in to what's really true about you. And today we are talking about what it really means when anxiety, pain, discomfort is still present even after you've done years of therapy or spiritual work. It's one of my favorite subjects to dive into because I hear it on the daily from all of you. Not a day goes by that one of my clients doesn't bring forward how after all these years of different spiritual teachings and therapy, it's still possible to feel stuck. So today, I want to cover how you can have deep awarenesses and still feel stuck in the same emotional patterns. I want to talk about how most healing work focuses only on understanding. But anxiety, pain, discomfort, emotional patterns live deeper than the mind. Emotional patterns live in the body. Your nervous system and emotional body is still holding what you haven't completely processed. I want to talk about how staying in analysis can keep you from actually feeling and releasing what's underneath. And I want to talk about how real change happens when you begin to meet yourself just beyond your understanding. How going deeper means building inner safety, building safety within, not just trying to fix what it is that you feel. And then I'm going to take you through a guided process where we're going to move from a state and a place of anxiety, discomfort, into a state of inner peace and inner calm that you can take with you as soon as this episode is complete. So, if we began to ask, what if the anxiety or emotions that you're feeling in your body isn't actually a sign that you're stuck, isn't actually a sign that you're failing, but it's actually an invitation to go more deeply within yourself. I always say the life of your dreams is waiting for you, but it's already within you. It's why I always say we always begin within. So, we want to begin as we start this episode by asking yourself where in your life might you have an understanding of your patterns, but you're not yet feeling free from your patterns. Just call forward an area of your life. It could be a small area, it could be a relationship that you're working with your child, your spouse, it could be something around your business, your purpose. But it's an area of your life that you may have come into a deep area of understanding mentally. You might know a lot of information about your patterns, and yet and still, you're finding yourself feeling like you're stuck in those emotions. You can't quite get yourself into a free state of consciousness. You're still feeling stuck in the emotions rather than free from them. And it doesn't even have to be a negative pattern. I'm thinking of one of my clients. I had a session yesterday with a client, and she was talking about this tremendous amount of anxiety that she's feeling and that she's going through during a big move that she's making in her life right now. And she's moving in with her partner, whom she loves. So this move is actually a really positive move. She's excited about it. It's a really good move, both physically and emotionally and spiritually in her life. It's a move into a new home, and it's a move into a new chapter of her life that she is calling in, she is excited about. And yet, and still, in the midst of this really, quote, good thing that's happening, she's aware that she's experiencing a tremendous amount of anxiety. She's putting all this pressure on herself to pack in a certain way, to unpack in a certain way. Why? Because You can have a deep awareness, a deep understanding of your patterns, but still stay stuck in those emotional patterns because this healing work that we are all being exposed to really focuses too much on the understanding of patterns. But the anxiety that she's feeling lives deeper. It's living right now in her body. It's living in her nervous system because she has unhealed processes. She hasn't completely healed and transformed that which is living in her body that needs to be processed. And we live in such an informational age right now, especially we're being bombarded with so much AI that we are in an informational age on steroids, you know? There's more information coming to us than ever before. But understanding something doesn't necessarily heal something. I always use an example of a child learning to ride a two-wheel bike. So a 5, 6, 7-year-old is learning how to ride a two-wheel bike. Inevitably, they're going to fall off the bike. They're going to cry when they fall off the bike. So the question becomes, what really heals that child? Is it the parent telling them the different way that they need to work with the steering wheel and giving them information? Is that what's going to heal their tears? Is the information going to heal their tears? Or is the ability to run to the parent and have the parent give them a big hug and soothe them? Is that what's going to heal their hurt? I always say you don't need to be healed, you just need to feel held. Now, it doesn't mean that then teaching a child how to use the bike handles might not help them. How to assist them with their balance might not assist them. But it isn't the place that we lead with, although traditional therapy does. It isn't the place that if we truly want to heal, we're not going to lead from our understanding because understanding is going to keep you in the mind. And healing comes in the body. Healing comes from feeling soothed, feeling seen, feeling held, feeling understood, feeling valued, feeling cherished and treasured, adored. Pain, discomfort, anxiety, our hurts, feeling betrayed, feeling rejected, abandoned, all of that lives in our body. And so we need to learn how to meet emotion with emotion. We need to learn to meet the hurts that are in our body with the embrace, with the compassion, with the holding, the soothing, the calming of the emotions, not just the intellect. Intellect alone is not going to have us heal. It may temporarily provide us some respite, but it's always going to be temporary. True, lasting healing comes when you begin to learn to understand how to begin within your being and soothe the places within you that are hurting. So my client who was feeling anxious about her move, she didn't need to hear the word. She didn't need to have more of an understanding that she didn't need to pack perfectly and she didn't need to unpack perfectly. She already knew this intellectually. But what she needed to learn was how to meet her anxiety with compassion and how to soothe her anxiety and let that place within her know that she would still be lovable, whether she packed perfectly, whether she unpacked within 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, whether she was still unpacking a month from now. She is still lovable. She's not more lovable if she does everything perfectly. She's not less lovable if she has boxes in her kitchen a month from now. That her worth, her deserving, her value is distinct from her performance. And when she begins to have that understanding, her anxiety is going to feel soothed because she knows that she is going to be just as acceptable to and by herself, regardless of her external situation. She didn't need healing She needed to feel held. And as soon as she began to meet her emotions with emotion, meet her emotion with compassion, she began to feel held and her anxiety began to be released. So she had in her nervous system and her emotional body still holding energy that hadn't been fully transformed, that hadn't been fully processed. And meeting herself with compassion was step one. There were places within her that she hadn't fully processed yet. She grew up in an alcoholic family, and so she learned to survive. She learned that the way to survive in her alcoholic family was to control and manage everything and everyone around her. If her outer world was in order, she felt that her inner world would feel safe. And that is how she learned to survive as a little girl. And cut to, here she is as a grown adult woman experiencing a really positive move in her life, and yet and still operating from these past patterns of needing and wanting to manage and control every box in her external world, thinking that that external control, that external management and bringing order to that external world was going to be the thing to relieve her anxiety. But understanding those patterns is not only ineffective, but it's exhausting because then she's going to have to continue to control and manage the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And so it becomes a repetitive patterning of having to control and manage her outer world in order to be relieved of the feeling of anxiety. And then she was sharing with me that the day after she was to move, she was planning a surprise party for her partner. And she was flying in his 3 young adult children. Again, another really good, positive thing in her life. And yet, and still, she was feeling so much anxiety about them landing and them getting to her house and then them getting to the restaurant without him seeing or knowing. And in the days and the weeks leading up to their trip, she was telling me how even when he was packing and helping her pack, and of course, he didn't know anything about the surprise party, she found herself saying, "Oh, don't pack the coffee mugs, don't pack those glasses," because in her mind, she's trying to control and manage everything so that when the adult children are staying at the house, they'll still have coffee mugs in the cabinet, in the cupboard, to be able to easily, have their lattes in the morning. And then he is not understanding why she's directing him and trying to control and manage everything. And so she's feeling a lot of anxiety inside of herself because he's not understanding. And so even though she's going through this really positive experience and she's flying his 3 young adult children and she knows he's going to feel so grateful, he's probably going to get emotional, they're going to get emotional, but here she is anxious about coffee mugs in a cupboard. She was also anxious about all of them getting to the restaurant and the way she had it all organized for them to show up so that he would be there waiting for them and she would be the last one walking in. And so this positive experience was causing her a lot of anxiety. And I'm wondering as you're listening if maybe you can relate in your life that there are things and ways in your outer life where it's certainly not your intention to be bringing anxiety or bringing or experiencing discomfort or pain. But this is something that no matter how much you might have an understanding, maybe you grew up in a dysfunctional family, maybe you have understanding about why you're operating within the patterns that you're operating under, and yet and still it hasn't brought you inner peace and inner calm. You're still feeling stuck in those emotional patterns just as she was. So it is the staying in the analysis that can keep us in the mind. And today we're wanting to free you into the body, experiencing something in the body, because when you experience something in the body is when you can truly release the energy that's being held in the body. So, what happened was she began to soothe those places within her. And when we begin to soothe the places within us, those places begin to feel safe. We are multi-dimensional beings, and we are able to hold different frequencies at the same time. So she began to realize that there was one frequency of anxiety, and she wasn't pretending it wasn't there. She wasn't trying to push it away. She wasn't trying to numb out to it or resist it. She was aware that this anxiety was present in her body, and we are multidimensional people. We are multidimensional individuals. We live in a quantum field where we can experience more than one thing at a time. So her intention was that she wanted to be more present and experience more of the joy of the move, more of the joy of the packing, more of the joy of the unpacking, and certainly more of the joy of this experience of the surprise party she was having for her partner. And so, first of all, is to allow yourself to recognize that you too are a multidimensional being. You live in a quantum field. A quantum field is a field of energy where you understand that you are capable of feeling and experiencing two different things at one time. So she could experience anxiety and be open to experiencing the joy at the same time. And so, because she was aware of her intention and what it was that she really wanted to experience, she began to understand that the way to do that was to let go of her attachment to the perfect picture of the way everything would get packed perfectly, everything would be unpacked perfectly, and absolutely this perfect picture that she was holding about the way that he would be surprised, the way that they would drive up to the restaurant. He wouldn't see them. They would walk in a certain kind of a way. She was going to be behind everyone. And when she began to let go of this perfect picture needing to look a perfect way, she came into the awareness that that was only one way that it could look. There are so many different ways. When one begins to release your attachment to the way that you think it needs to be, it needs to look, it needs to happen, you will become aware that you are holding one vision, one lane. It's like a racehorse with blinders on. You can only see this one way. But in reality, there are always infinite possibilities, infinite potentiality, infinite ways that this could show up. And when she began to enter into the awareness of, oh my goodness, there's so many ways. Why would I try to restrict this surprise into only this one little way? There's so many ways that this could look. She also began to then come into the awareness that the way that he was surprised, the way that it would happen, was so secondary to what she really valued, was that she's with a wonderful man, that she had this feeling that she wanted to gift him with his children showing up unannounced, unexpectedly, spontaneously. And she began to realize that it didn't really matter whether there were coffee mugs in the cupboard, because what mattered was that they were going to all be together. Whether they drove out to get lattes from somewhere and bring them in that morning, whether they would have to go digging through and rummaging through boxes, that actually, if they were rummaging through boxes, not able to find the coffee mugs, they were all together, and that would be part of their experience, part of their memories. They could be laughing. They could be, creating contests of who's going to find the coffee mugs first. Like, there's just so many different ways that something can unfold when you're willing to live in the multidimensionality of something and not restrict and constrict yourself to certain ways of being. So she really began to come into an awareness, into a flow state, into an inner alignment within her of what really mattered most to her. What mattered most to her was that they landed safely and that they all had a really good time together. And so when she started feeling that, her body started to relax. She began to feel safe in her body. When her body started to relax, her identity shifted from a woman who was really anxious to a woman who was really full of joy, to a woman who was really excited at the prospect of these three beautiful individuals coming to be with their father and her to have been part of the bringing of all of them together. Her identity shifted. She recognized that that is what was truly of value to her, truly of value to him, truly of value to them. And she recognized that her identity was this woman who is so full of joy, is so full of positive intentionality, who had a vision for bringing these individuals together, to contributing to and to creating more love in her family dynamic. This is who she truly is. And so the lesser identity that she was holding on to was allowed to shed. And then she allowed the higher identity of who she truly is to emerge from within her when her body was relaxed, when her nervous system began to relax. And so the going deeper happened because she created that inner relaxation, that inner safety. You are not going to create inner safety by trying to fix what you're feeling. You're going to create that inner safety when you embrace what you're feeling. When you begin to soothe what it is that you're feeling, your body somatically will relax. And when your body relaxes, your true identity emerges. That's why we say in this podcast, we tune in, we slow down to allow what's true about you to emerge, because we always begin within. So it so happens that the surprise went great. It went better than she could possibly have imagined. But it isn't that the surprise went great of why she's feeling so good, because she began to feel so good before those kids ever landed. She felt good when she shifted her identity, when her authentic self emerged out of the safety she created in her body. So that safety was the ultimate healing ingredient. And no matter how the actual meeting and surprise would have happened, she was already feeling good before it happened. So the healing happens in consciousness. The healing happens within us before the outer physical experience happens. That's why sometimes in manifestation, people get really frustrated because they think they're having a healing inside, a shift in awareness inside, but the space, until it shows up in the physical world, sometimes convinces someone to give up on that identity shift, and they allow themselves to shrink back into an old identity that they have been holding on to about themselves. But when you recognize that when your identity shift emerges, then the space until it happens on the outer physical, she got to be in the joy. She was in the joy and she was unattached to whether it would have gone well, whether he would have seen them from the restaurant walking in, whether they all got there at the same time, whether one of them got caught in traffic. She was released. She was detached. She let go of any attachment, and therefore the joy that she was feeling got to be sustained. And so, of course, it worked out perfectly, but she got to be in the joy no matter what. So she was relaxed no matter what. So again, you are asking yourself, what if a feeling of anxiety, pain, discomfort, emotions is not that you are stuck, is not that you're failing, is not that something's wrong, but what you're feeling is actually an invitation to go deeper within. And I hope that you can see that through her going deeper within, she freed herself from the inside out. She didn't need then anything on the external to go well. She didn't need it to go a certain way at all. She freed herself from the inside out. She aligned herself. She allowed the joy to emerge from within her. She was in alignment with that quality. She was experiencing the joy even before the physical action and experience happened. And then it did, though, happen in just such a beautiful, beautiful way. But it was reflective of her true identity, not that it happened to go really well on the external. So let's take this, let's work with this, and let me take you through a guided process that is going to assist you to move into an inner state of inner peace, inner calm, and inner relaxation. So let's just gently begin to slow down, close your eyes, just gift this moment to yourself. There is nothing you need to do. There is nothing that needs to be fixed, just for this few moments. Let yourself relax, close your eyes, maybe place your hand on your heart. Connect with your truest being, your most authentic self. Begin to be aware of your breath. Feel that it's really slowing down. You're breathing in, you're breathing out. You don't have a care in the world because you've gifted yourself these next few moments. So from this place of calm, spaciousness, slowing down, intentionality, your hands on your heart, you're letting the love in your heart guide you. You're connected with this place of love in your heart. And you want to call forward a place in your life where you are experiencing perhaps some anxiety, a place where maybe you're feeling stuck, a place that feels uncomfortable perhaps, some pain that you're moving through, an uncomfortable experience that you're moving through. And you may have tremendous understanding about it. Maybe you too came from a dysfunctional family or an alcoholic family, and you're aware of the dysfunction and you understand why you have the patterns. But just for right now, allow yourself not to reside in your mind, but feel the anxiety in your body. Become interested, become curious. Where in your body are you feeling this discomfort? Do you feel a shortness of breath? Do you feel your heart beating more quickly? Do you feel it in your stomach, in the pit of your stomach? Do you feel it in your throat? Do you feel your throat constricted? Might you feel it in the mind? Might you feel that constriction in the head, around the eyes? Do you feel it in the back of your neck, your lower back? Where in your body are you feeling your own discomfort? And wherever in your body you're feeling this discomfort, take a moment and place your hand kindly, tenderly, lovingly, and compassionately on that place on your body. Just like when you were 5 years old, if you fell off your bike, you would have wanted your mom to give you the biggest hug ever. Let yourself touch, hold, hug the place inside of you, in your body, where you feel that energetic tension. And allow that place to soften. You're right here. You're embracing, you're welcoming, you're holding, and you're reminding yourself you don't need to be healed. You just need to be held. And so you are willing to hold yourself. And so as you are allowing yourself to feel so held, you're not resisting the emotions, you're not enmeshed with the emotions, you're holding the places inside that feel uncomfortable. And as you are holding the places inside of yourself, begin to feel your body relax. Begin to feel your breath become slower, become deeper. Feel that as you are inhaling, your inhalation can surround the place in your body with oxygen. You're oxidating your cells. You're bringing oxygen. You're bringing new life. You're bringing soothing, calming energy to the places in your body that might feel uncomfortable. And as you're doing this, you're feeling your nervous system relax. You're feeling your body relax. And you're teaching your body what it feels like to be met, not with the mind, but with the body, with compassion, with kindness, with gentleness, with loving, with what energy truly heals. And that is love and self-love. When you allow yourself to feel loving to the places inside of you that hurt, you are going to experience a relaxation. And as you feel the anxiety within you relax, I want you to open up and recognize, I've been holding on so tightly that I was in a state of lack. I was containing, constricting my energy. But now that I relax, I find a flow of energy that I am connected with. I am now in the flow state, and I am connected with infinite possibilities, infinite potential, infinite wisdom, infinite guidance. There's a North Star within you, and it's right here to guide you to places that you might never have expected, you might never have thought of from the mind. But let all the different possibilities emerge from your wisdom, from your heart, from your guidance. From relaxation, you will find infinite possibilities, infinite potential. And so right now, you just take a moment and listen. What does your body need? What does your body want? What is it asking for from you? And who are you when you are in a state of peace and calm and relaxation about whatever outer experience you're working through? Who are you when you show up peaceful, calm, relaxed, centered, anchored, grounded, aligned, awake, activated, expanded, inspired, creative, joyful, prosperous, whole, abundant, radiant, luminous? Just hearing these qualities allows inside of you that light, that spark, that true being that you are, your most authentic self, to emerge, to shine, and to direct you into some possibilities that maybe you've never seen before. And when you begin to feel into that energy of radiance and vibrancy, that bright, shining, light, and loving presence and being that you are, then gently open your eyes. Call forward a takeaway, a quality that came to you, a feeling that came to you in your body, something that is true for you, and you want to take that forward with you. You want to bring that from the inside of you into your outer relationships, the outer individuals that you're talking to on a daily basis, and the projects that you're working on, and your business and your finance. You want to bring this inner state now back out into your outer areas and relationships in your life. So I hope that this episode has shown you how there's so much more to healing and transformation than the mental understanding, the mind. The body is so intelligent. It has so much to teach you. It has a way of guiding you and directing you if you but begin within. When you learn to really work with the inner landscape within you, it will emerge as miraculous, magical, mysterious, mystical experiences, synchronicities, signs. Someone will call you, you'll meet someone, something will happen, and it will be completely unexpected and exactly what it is that you need in the way that you need it. Just like my client's surprise worked out so well for her partner. So if you feel called to go deeper, please see the notes below. Go to my website. I have so many courses. One in particular comes to mind that you might be interested in. It's called the Emotional Messenger System, where I teach you how to go into your body and listen for the messages and the meanings that your emotions, the energy that's living in your body, is trying to tell you. So that's called the Emotional Messenger System. Sign up for my newsletter, my free resources. There's so much there for you if you're ready to go deeper. And if this episode was assistful to you, please like, subscribe, and send it to a friend that you also would like to see thrive in their life. So remember, give yourself permission to thrive this week, and we always begin within. See you next time. So much love.